Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling.
Extreme Championship.
Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm a tumbleweed of barbed wire.
And I am Shane Guy Dudley.
Welcome to episode 266, Born to be Wired.
Born to be wired.
Bam.
Yeah, last week we were on motorcycles, and this week we're singing motorcycle anthems.
That's right.
Yeah. Look for adventure, whatever comes our way.
Yeah, I always preferred put the Pusher if I had to pick Steppenwolf tunes.
I don't know if I can name any other Steppenwolf tunes.
Those are the only two I know, but I like the other one.
So this is the only Born to be Wired produced by ECW. It would take place on August 9th, 1997, from the ECW Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with an attendance of 1,300 people.
Might not be hanging from the rafters, but they're standing on them.
Agreed.
It caps out at 15, as we've seen.
But we are in Philly.
We are.
So Shane, did you do what you do?
I think I kind of did, with a little assistance. Yeah, it's.
Oh, is this our final drink?
This is.
Oh.
This is courtesy of our friend Joe, who sent us that GPT list of ECW inspired cocktails.
The way that ChatGPT should be used.
Yes. Use AI for food and beverage creative ideas, because they're really weird with pictures and writing dialogue and stuff. So far, anyways. Yes, this here is, like I said, courtesy of our friend Joe, who sent this list to us many months ago, and we've been able to stretch it out for quite some time now. But, it's an ECW show. It typically is amplified a little bit with some alcohol. This one here in particular is the Blue Meanie Mojito. It's your traditional mojito with some Bacardi, a little bit of simple syrup, some mint leaves that I muddled together using the end of a wooden-handled little spatula.
Oh yeah, I use the end of the wooden spoon too. It works better than a real muddler, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it's got those, those fibers.
Let it sit in there for a minute or so after I muddled, just so the mint could linger a little longer, and blued it up with some blue curacao. So it's got this nice, sky blue.
It looks like blue curacao.
Yeah.
It's blue as hell.
It's pretty damn good too. I'm a little impressed with myself, at least on mine, because I've made a few mojitos in the past during my time as a bartender, but I never made one that I actually drank myself. So so far I'm liking it.
I've gotten pretty good at it. A few years ago, I turned the mojito into the WrestleMania weekend drink.
Oh, I remember.
And so that's why I had that Bacardi up there, is because WrestleMania happened recently.
Because we had some WrestleMania mojitos.
Yeah, WrestleMania, brings in the spring, and what better drink as the nights get longer and the temperature goes up than a mojito.
Yep. I enjoyed WrestleMania, not so much with drinks, but with a different leafy green. But it tasted just as great.
Motale.
Yes. A little smokier, but this one has a little more of a citrus kick to it. Courtesy of the blue. So, Joe,
cheers.
I'd like to raise a toast to our friend Joe. We appreciate you. You sent us some awesome fucking drinks. So,
yep.
It definitely made Shane's life much easier for those 8 weeks.
All I had to do was search for ingredients instead of having to figure them out on my own. So, appreciate you.
I hate to shout out AI, but none of the drinks were bad.
No. Even ones that sounded like they would be very questionable.
Hey, man. anything beats a bull shot.
Oh yeah, but typically when you have a Sandman-inspired drink, you expect the worst, and it actually wasn't too bad.
Beer and pills. Like, sorry, we're trying to talk.
Can I get a drop of blood or two? Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think of the Joe beverages, this one sits up there because it's nice and refreshing.
Mojito rules.
That Raven's Revenge. I don't know. Maybe it's the first and the last. There's the bookend of the bunch, because that Raven's Revenge that we had, very very first one, it was dangerous in the point that you couldn't really taste the alcohol. You can taste the alcohol in this, but that one I could have drank a few of them and been seriously fucked up because the black cherry juice covered up the entire flavor of the alcohol. So even though, spoiler alert, Blue Meanie is not on this show, he's here in spirits. See what I did there?
So something that would happen right around the same time as this show, Backstreet Boys would release their United States debut album.
Oh, no, you did.
The next week.
All right, quick question. The first big single in the U.S. is Backstreet's Back.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
That's it?
Right?
In the U.S.?
Yeah.
I thought it was the first big one.
This was essentially what I'm getting at is that it was weird because it's like, back from what?
No, Quit Playing Games With My Heart was their big...
That was the first one?
That was their big break in the States. They had We Got It Going On released in September of 1995.
But that album was UK.
Yeah, but no, 97 was when they became Total Request Live constantly.
Yeah, that's what I remember, but I feel like the first one...
They have a little rainy video of them dancing around.
I guess you're right, but Backstreet's Back maybe was the second single. But either way, it was weird because it was off of the first album. Do you guys have any familiarity with the first album because it was not released widely?
Okay, you're right. Quit Playing with Games with My Heart did get to number 2 in the U.S.
Trust the gay boy from the 90s.
It's not that I don't trust you. I'm going from memory, strictly memory.
Yes.
Remember the first time I saw the video, I was like, oh wow, this video looks incredible for Backstreet's Back, and it was before TRL went to Times Square. It was just like the video countdown in studio or whatever. But yeah, I was curious if either of you are familiar with the first album because we didn't get it here, so I don't know those songs.
Here's the thing.
Let's hear it.
This album, their U.S. debut, was actually 6 tracks from their first international
Release
album and 5 tracks from their second international album, which released literally the next day.
So they took the two, the greatest.
So they
hits
took
from
basically the
took
best songs, except for Backstreet's Back was not on the initial U.S. album.
And then
they reissued it again
with that
song as an extra 12th song.
But are you guys familiar with those songs that I probably don't know?
Shane probably is more.
I probably am. But
I literally, other than the songs that got played on, because I was not a Backstreet guy, I was an NSYNC guy.
Bad take.
This isn't a battle about.
That was my next question.
It's who my sister enjoyed, so that's who I had to end up listening to more of.
Yeah.
I mean, if they came on the radio, it's not like I was like, Backstreet Boys.
Yeah, didn't have an alliance. It was the one you were more familiar with. As somebody who,
I didn't care for this type of music really to begin with.
Me neither.
So,
but I'm just saying, NSYNC ended up being ultimately more successful, but Backstreet Boys has better tracks. They just have better. The songs are better. It's undeniably better songs. Maybe the NSYNC guys were cuter, but not necessarily for me to judge.
I think I think NSYNC has a couple people that are more talented than anybody that's in Backstreet Boys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the songs.
But the overall group are not as, and songs are not as good as what Backstreet Boys are.
Yeah, because Backstreet Boys songs, I they stick in your head. They're more memorable. They're catchier. Yeah, I always just thought it was funny, but I didn't have any of those CDs. The only boy band I was ever into was Boyz II Men. So by the time this happened, I was already like, oh no, I'm good on this.
So it shows on here the album that was released in Germany had We've Got It Going On, which was like their first song. I'll Never Break Your Heart was on there also. Quit Playing Games With My Heart was on there.
Like that one, everybody knows. Tattooed in the minds of the world.
So that's all from that one. And then their next album had Everybody Backstreet's Back, As Long As You Love Me.
Yeah.
All I Have to Give. They did a cover of Set Adrift on Memory Bliss. And then you get to the U.S.
Pretty wild that like a band like this has such a
they were
complicated
big in
discography from the jump.
Well, it's because this kind of music was big in Europe, and so when they formed the group, that they put it out there and
test the waters
to see how well it would do, and then they kind of just slowly. I mean, the TRL-ness of music slowly drifted into the pop, Britney, Christina, NSYNC, Backstreet, because in '95 it was R&B and
rock music. And rock music was on a steady decline by '99 as far as popular rock music goes. '98, '97. It's okay, it's all
like '96, because then like '97 you had the boy bands and you had a lot of single females that were taking over, like your Sheryl Crows, your Lauryn Hills, your
and like there's new metal, bubbling, but it doesn't.
Name Sean Colvin, Meredith Brooks, Sarah McLachlan. The Dixie Chicks were coming out at that time.
But your grunge and stuff is dying, and your and new metal's bubbling, but it breaks in like '98, '99, where Limp Bizkit has the Faith cover. Korn releases like Korn had already been a really popular band, but not in a radio sense. But then like Got the Life, they hit TRL with Got the Life and what have you.
Now Backstreet Boys, I was big into this album. I owned, what was the next one? Millennium. My niece won tickets on the radio, and I was her adult chaperone to fly with her from Lincoln, Nebraska to Tampa to go see Backstreet Boys with, who the hell was the opening act? Mandy Moore.
Oh.
And there was some like Abercrombie and Fitch model that was becoming a singer at the time. I don't remember what the hell his name was, but
say LFO. But that's probably a little later.
No, LFO was around that time.
Yeah. And one song of theirs was huge. Mm-hmm. They just had the one.
And we're all thankful for that, because that one was more than enough.
We're literally a few days away from their 31st anniversary as a band.
That's insane.
Because their anniversary is April 20th.
Wild.
Weird.
Well, yeah, if you guys are...
30 years of Backstreet Boys, huh?
If you guys are ever... interested in a very interesting man.
I did listen to their Christmas album that they released a few years ago. It was okay.
Yeah. Look into Lou Pearlman. He was super into blimps, which I think is cool.
He was super into
the other stuff he wasn't. The other stuff he was super into wasn't so cool. But yeah, as a man who wishes that we lived in a world that would bring back the luxury rigid airship, I appreciate somebody getting into the blimp game.
But enough about Backstreet.
That's right.
Let's find out if ECW's back.
I don't want to hear the things that these ECW fans would say about the Backstreet Boys.
So we get title and date card shown, and we go straight to our first match. Little Guido with Tracy Smothers and Tommy Rich versus Pablo Marquez.
Crowds are pro Pablo. I don't know Pablo.
I don't either.
We haven't seen Pablo since Heatwave 96, episode 210.
And see, I kept looking at Pablo because it was kind of a blurry picture on the screen, and I was trying to figure out if he was somebody that became somebody else just because I couldn't get a clear face. It's like, is that early Rhino?
My assumption is he was just an indie guy, and there was indie stuff going on, and these fans know what's up for the most part.
I thought maybe S.A. Rios was making an appearance already, but no.
So Rich takes the mic, but the crowd overpowers him with "Shut the fuck up."
Oh, I thought they were calling him a
so you can't hear what he has to say. And Guido goes for a hip toss, only for Marquez to land on his feet and hit his own hip toss, and leap to the shoulders of little Guido to take him down with a hurricanrana, which sends Guido out to the floor, followed by Pablo flying through the ropes with a tope suicida. Little Guido's rolled in with Marquez going for a springboard back in, but Guido nails him with a clothesline in mid-air for a 2 count. Little Guido with a turnbuckle smash sends Pablo to a corner and charges in, only for Marquez to avoid and roll up Guido for a near fall. Clotheslines and chops in retaliation from Little Guido, but he has his whip reversed, with Pablo charging into a back body drop out to the apron, where the two men fight momentarily, followed by Marquez coming off the top with a missile dropkick for a 2 count, and an inside cradle for a near fall. Pablo's tossed out to the floor where Tommy rams him into a ring post, before rolling Marquez back in for a vertical suplex that gets a 2 count. Guido misses another corner charge, bouncing right out into Pablo delivering a Russian leg sweep for a near fall. Marquez then misses an elbow drop, so little Guido goes to work on the leg of Pablo until tossing him to the ropes and goes for a drop kick. But Marquez holds onto the ropes to counter, followed by a sunset flip for a 2 count. A leaping clothesline and a drop kick sends Guido out to the floor before Pablo hits a drop kick through the ropes, but Smothers is right there to kick at Marquez and rolling back in. And little Guido's taken down by a dropkick once more, followed by Pablo climbing to the top, only to plancha atop the rest of the FBI at ringside. And Marquez returns to the ring and climbs again to the top, but Rich grabs the Italian flag, whacking Marquez across the back, sending Pablo crashing to the mat, where Guido makes the cover for the pin and the win.
It absolutely happened.
Yep.
Good for Pablo getting cheered.
I miss JT.
I was thinking the same thing, brother.
Like, oh, Rich, what's his name? Tommy Rich.
Yeah.
He was fun in the very beginning, but I can never understand what the hell he's saying, so
Also,
it's just pointless.
Yeah, like, Guido is, like, funny, but he's only funny next to JT Smith, who is much funnier than he is. So it's like, oh, he's good as, like, the old, like, Looney Tunes, like the big dog, and you have the little dog at his ankles. Like, little Guido is great in that role, but you need the big dog who's dumber than the small dog calling the shots, and that's JT Smith. We miss him and wish him well.
And we're headed to our second match. Louie Spicolli versus Mikey Whipwreck.
Yeah. I love both these guys.
Yep.
We haven't seen Mikey since High Incident, episode 224.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been almost a year since we've seen him.
Crazy.
Spicolli with hip tosses and body slams early on, but Mikey comes back with arm drags and drop kicks that sends Louie straddling the ring post. So Whipwreck follows out to pull him ball first into it.
Saw a spot like that very recently.
No posted?
Well, if they have to be on the outside of the ring for posted. You can't, both guys are on the outside. You can't get...
Gotta have standards.
Yeah. Like a turnbuckle smash isn't a post. Slam into the post, both men on the outside. That's the deal.
Self-imposted?
Self-imposted.
Back at the ring, Spicolli ducks a clothesline and nails a stunner. But Mikey comes back with a sunset flip for a 2 count, followed by Louie nailing an enziguri for a near fall.
Fuck you, Louie. Fuck you.
Spicolli catches Whipwreck going for a crossbody, countering it into a fall-away slam. Drops an elbow and a leg for near falls, before also delivering a pop-up pancake. And Louie goes for another, but Mikey counters it into a hurricanrana and a Russian leg sweep, followed by heading up top for a flying hurricanrana, only to be caught and dropped with a powerbomb for a 2 count. Spicolli then heads up top for a swanton bomb, when Whipwreck would avoid and hit more drop kicks. But Louie responds by just tossing Mikey to the floor so hard he hits his head on the guardrail.
Oof.
And Spicolli follows out to continue the punishment, but a reversed whip sends Louie into the steel several times, before Whipwreck rolls back in, only to fly over the ropes with a tope con hilo. that sees both of his legs hit the top of the guardrail and his head on the concrete.
It is a nasty fall. We get the ECW chant, and boy, did it deserve it.
Yeah.
They return to the ring with Spicolli headed up top, only for Mikey to meet him there for a super Franken Mikey for the pin and the win.
Thanks for coming, Lewis.
In more ways than one, as this is Louie's final ECW match.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
The excitement at the beginning of, oh, I like both these guys, and
I
then the
know.
heartbreak at the end.
Well, the thing is, like, Louie was super over. I think he did a pretty good heel turn. Here he is, takes a loss to Mikey Whipwreck. At least he did the right thing on his way out, but it's a bummer because
We all know it's coming.
I prefer the Haas wrestler version of Louie Spicolli, but he wasn't doing a bad job as a heel.
Huh.
So, yeah, pour one out for Louis Spicolli.
So we go to our third match. Spike Dudley versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
Another fun little.
Yeah, well, why are you
duo.
doing the same match back to back? It's like, all right, bigger guy, much smaller guy, and it's like, well, how about we have a guy that's way bigger and a guy that's way smaller? It's pretty funny.
It's gonna be perfect.
Yeah, it's like, what if we did 2 ladder matches back to back? And be like, what if I didn't buy the pay-per-view?
We haven't seen Dudley since Buffalo Invasion, episode 253, and Bam Bam since Ultimate Jeopardy 96, episode 222.
Damn.
A little bit of backstory here. Bigelow has actually been appearing regularly in ECW since May, but he just hasn't been on any of the shows that we've covered. But in that time, he has joined forces with Shane Douglas and Chris Candido to become the newest member of the Triple Threat.
I mean, pretty cool that they have a big man now.
Yep. I mean, they had a big man, but it was Brian fucking Lee. So,
Yeah, but
and now it's Bam Bam Bigelow, which is much cooler.
Yes.
yeah, I mean, Brian Lee, I think, had the look for the group.
But Bam Bam Bigelow, as Joey points out, has tattoos on his head.
He does. Which is, I still think about it all the time. Having tattoos on his head in like 1989 or whatever is fucking crazy.
So Bigelow comes out and he's asking the crowd who wants Spike when he throws him into the crowd, before using his power advantage to just heel toss Dudley inside the ring,
Oh my god.
followed by a press slam and a vertical suplex.
Spike Dudley is just my little Sam Houston.
Bam Bam tosses Spike to the floor and following out to ram Dudley head first into the ring post,
Posted.
busting him open before returning to the ring,
Little men bleed too.
where Bigelow choke tosses Spike with him landing on his head.
Ugh.
Yeah, he did.
He's a real ragdoll.
Bam Bam with a corner avalanche attack before heading up top for a moonsault. But Dudley moves out of the way to deliver several forearms and drop kicks for a 1 count.
He's a little spark plug.
Spike goes for the acid drop, only for Bigelow to reverse into a back suplex, followed by picking Dudley up with one arm and tossing him into a corner. But Spike leaps out of the corner with a low blow before leaping up to the shoulders to take Bam Bam down with a victory roll for the pin and the win.
This was sick. It was fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The heart of one Spike Dudley is larger than his brain, as we've seen.
So this is actually the first time that Bigelow had been pinned in ECW.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy that he did it for Spike Dudley, but I imagine he has to, like, say what you will about Spike Dudley, but he leaves it all out there. Like, you gotta, yeah.
Yep.
It's like he's like, oh, you're gonna throw me 7 feet across the ring? Sure, no problem.
But you know what would make it cool? If you make me land on my head.
Yeah.
So we go to our fourth match. The rookie, Chris Chetti, versus Chris Candido.
I hate that it's CC versus CC.
I didn't even think of that.
I mean, that's the way when I take peeling back the curtain when I take my notes, instead of writing their full names, I use initials. So I was like, fuck.
You have to go with TR next time for the rookie.
yeah, that would have been better. I did CH.
Candido seems to have something in his hands before the match, but he ends up putting it into his trunks, followed by the two men going back and forth with hammerlocks, arm drags, right hands, roll-ups, and crossbodies. Candido ducks a clothesline and nails a hurricanrana that takes them both over the ropes to the floor before running Chetti into a ring post.
Posted. I mean, Joey has one of my favorite lines of all time here, talking about Chris Candido. He's like, I don't know why he dyes his eyebrows black.
Okay.
Fucking killed me. We all know Joey Styles to be funny, but this delivery and dad joke of it all caught me off guard.
Candido hits a flash leg drop and a second rope leg drop for a 2 count before a stalling vertical suplex and mocking Taz, who'll be his opponent at the next pay-per-view. And Candido then comes off the top with a flying sunset flip, only for the rookie to sit down on the shoulders for a near fall. And Candido retaliates with a clothesline and chops, but Chetti fires up with right hands, only to charge into a big boot. And Candido slams the rookie down and heads up top for a double axe handle, only for Chetti to catch him in the gut on his way down, followed by a bridging German suplex for a 2 count. And the rookie continues with a back body drop, drop kick, and a swinging neck breaker for a near fall, before also delivering a power slam, but he doesn't make the cover, instead heading to the top.
Rookie mistake.
And Chetti flies off with a somersault leg drop that misses everything, allowing Candido to recover and head up himself. But the rookie shakes the ropes, causing Candido to crotch himself, followed by Chetti nailing a superplex for a 2 count.
These guys are moving so quickly and doing it's not hip toss, drop down, leapfrog, side headlock. It's big boy shit so quickly at junior speeds.
The rookie telegraphs a back body drop.
Don't do it.
So Chris counters it into a gut wrench powerbomb before setting Chetti on the top for a double underhook superplex for the pin and the win.
Nice stuff. I love a wrestling match.
Yes. So we're headed to our 5th match. The franchise, Shane Douglas with Francine versus Lance Storm. And the last time we saw Lance was at Barely Legal 97, episode 250. And Shane takes the mic to talk about Hardcore Heaven, challenging Sabu and Terry Funk to a 3-way dance. So whoever wins the main event, he doesn't care. He wants them both.
He wants them both.
Yeah.
Just hop on in there. Just start the 3-way dance tonight, man.
Yeah, I do love that he name drops the night the line was crossed.
Yeah. So Storm starts it off with multiple shoulder blocks, chops, and arm drags, followed by a back body drop, before nailing a super kick, which brings Francine up to the apron to distract Lance, allowing the franchise to retaliate with a hot shot across the ropes. Douglas begins to stomp away, with Francine getting involved as well with chokes, followed by a butterfly suplex for a 2 count. And Storm is knocked down in a corner, so Shane hits a basement drop kick to his Maple Leafs, before locking on a camel clutch, while Francine throws some chairs into the ring. And the franchise sets the chairs up before vertical suplexing Lance through them for a near fall.
I mean, maybe one of the most creative ECW chants we've got. Franchise sucks dick for crack. Doo-dah, doo-dah. Franchise sucks dick for crack. All the doo-dah day is insane. And obviously not nice, but we're in Philly. Who is nice?
Storm fires up with right hands and looks to suplex Douglas out of the ring. But Francine grabs his boot, causing him to lose his footing and release Shane, only to back body drop him over the ropes when the franchise charges in. Lance then baseball slides Douglas into the guardrail, followed by dropping him balls first onto the steel. Now back in the ring, Storm springboards into a high crossbody for a 2 count, before hitting a cartwheel clothesline and an enziguri for a near fall. Lance goes for a body slam, but Shane rolls through, only for Storm to roll through himself for a 2 count. And Lance keeps up the attack with a springboard sunset flip for a near fall, but the franchise counters into a roll-up of his own for a 2 count. Storm hits a pair of spinning heel kicks and a shoulder block, followed by going up top, only to miss a leg drop, allowing Douglas to go for the belly-to-belly suplex. But Lance counters into a DDT for the pin, and no, Shane kicks out.
Big old pop. I mean, that was a great spot. Come on, guys.
The franchise reverses a whip, only to charge into a big boot. But Storm charges out with Douglas catching him with the belly-to-belly suplex for the pin and the win.
It's great stuff.
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for. That's what I want to see.
So we go to our 6th match. Alfsono versus Taz for the ECW World Television Championship.
Aren't you guys pumped for Alfsono?
Yes. Alfsono looks more like Alfsono than Alfsono's looked so far.
I mean, yeah, we saw him years ago, and we're very excited to see the style he was wrestling and his ability, because it's not the thing that we remember from the Attitude Era about his wrestling. But you know, now he's here with Taz.
He can cuss.
Yeah, I don't even care about that. I'm just curious to see what he's going to look like in the ring.
So we haven't seen Snow since Raw, February 17th, 1997, episode 241. And the crowd is chanting something at Snow. So he takes the mic to yell back, "I'm not Leaf Cassidy. I'm Al motherfucking Snow." So the crowd turns the chants into, "Taz is gonna kill you," with Joey saying, as if Taz needs encouraging.
Old Angry Al.
And our competitors go back and forth with mat wrestling, using holds, counters, roll-throughs, and leg trips, until the human suplex machine locks on a heel hook, forcing Al to bail to the floor.
And Al looks smart in this match, but Taz is Taz. So it's like, okay, well, I might be intelligent, but that's a pit bull.
Snow returns only for Taz to stay on the attack with stomps, turnbuckle smashes, and an Alabama slam, followed by catching a kick, but Al counters it into an enziguri, before also hitting a back suplex and a clothesline. Snow then whips Taz to the ropes and goes for another clothesline, only for the human suplex machine to counter it into a T-bone Tazplex.
No cover.
But Al responds by delivering a sit-out powerbomb.
No cover. My God.
Snow with a leg drop across the neck, right hands and more kicks, only for the human suplex machine to catch the leg to take down Al. But a thumb to the eye slows the momentum. And Snow slams Taz down and goes for a pop-up. But the human suplex machine lands on his feet and grabs Al for a release German.
Oof.
Taz then telegraphs a back body drop, so Snow knees him away before hitting a fireman's carry suplex. The human suplex machine is right back to his feet and looks to apply the kata hajime, only for Hal to hip toss Taz to block. Snow then charges in with a clothesline, but he's caught with the Taz mission for the submission and the win.
I mean, this is good stuff. I like Al's attitude. He's pissed at the beginning. There's a great spot in the middle of the match, or towards, I guess, the end. But does the belly to back plus the clothesline, and he just eggs him on. It's like, who eggs on Taz? He says, come on, and does the double leg takedown, but takes that T-bone Tazplex, and it all goes downhill from there. But he's got guts.
Guts, grit, testicular fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
And, a mannequin.
Sorry.
I mean, yeah. That's the joke. It was a layup.
So we go to our 7th match. The Dudley Boys of Dvon and Bubba Ray Dudley with Big Dick and Sign Guy Dudley and Joel Gertner. Can't forget Joel Gertner.
Can't.
Oh, my eyes glaze over.
Versus Balls Mahoney and Axel Rotten.
Joel your lipstick on his dipstick, Gertner.
I mean, yeah, that's...
Damn it, there could have been my name.
I mean, it's so very funny, but I'm so Dudley'd out and have been for so long.
And Dvon says it's now time for Gertner to testify. So Joel introduces his charges, including himself as the quintessential stud muffin.
Yeah.
Balls arrives with a chair, so Bubba has the crowd passing one as well to even the odds, until the ref forces both men to put them down.
TCW, I thought chairs were okay.
They try every once in a while.
Or is that like that over-the-top rule from WCW back in the day where it just, when they decide to enforce it?
Unfortunately, that's kind of how all of wrestling is at this point.
So the Dudleys decide to take a walk because they don't get the side of the ring that they want. So the ref just asks their opponents to change sides to get them to come back. And we get Axel and Bubba Ray starting off, but Rotten wants Dvon, but he won't acquiesce at first, only to finally do so, leading to Axel being tripped up as he hits the ropes by Big Dick. And Dvon has his arm worked over by his opponents, but when Mahoney goes to run the ropes, Big Dick low bridges them, causing Balls to fall out to the floor, and Dudley beats him down. And Rotten Mahoney head to the back, leaving the Dudleys to celebrate, but they return with Hack Meyers in tow, who we haven't seen since November to Remember 96, episode 226.
Yeah, that took me a second. I had to kind of do a triple and quadruple take of, who the fuck is that?
Oh, yeah. I heard the Shaw, and I knew. Can't say I was pumped.
Everybody starts brawling until the Dudleys get whipped into one another, followed by Big Dick getting ping-pong punched as the crowd chants, Shaw, Balls, Axel.
I mean, it's very funny.
You're in a match with a dude named Big Dick, and the other guy's name is Balls.
Yep.
Talk about extreme.
Extremely stupid.
And the ref at this moment tells the announcer that we're making this match a 6-man tag. So we're on to our 8th match. The Dudleys of Dvon, Bubba Ray, and Big Dick Dudley, with Sign Guy Dudley and Joel Gertner, versus Axel Rotten, Balls Mahoney, and Hack Meyers.
The Shaw shit balls of it all.
More brawling to start when Axel uses a chair over the head of Dvon at ringside before tossing him into the crowd, while Bubba uses a chair on Balls and Hack. Rotten and Dvon make their way out the front doors, where the Dudleys thrown into the steel before returning to ringside, where Dvon uses a chair himself, busting Axel open. And they head into the ring where Dvon drops an elbow for a 2 count, followed by Mahoney delivering the Nutcracker Sweet and a top rope leg drop for a near fall. And Rotten's now brawling with Bubba Ray, using a chair, before doing the same to Big Dick, while Meyers and Dvon fight inside the ring, where Hack nails a DDT for a 2 count. Sign Guy climbs on the apron to distract Meyers, but Hack moves in time from a high knee from Dvon, causing Sign Guy to take the blow, sending him down to the floor. Meyers then rolls up Dvon for a near fall, followed by a back elbow and a guillotine leg drop, while Balls uses a chair over Big Dick's head. But Dudley retaliates with a chokeslam of Mahoney through a table at ringside. Then inside the ring, Dvon and Bubba team up to deliver a 3D to Hack for the pin and the win.
Wait.
And this will be the last time we ever see Hack Meyers.
Shut up.
Wonderful irony. My eyes glaze over. I think that Dvon is cool and moderately compelling, but
Will my brother testify?
yeah, I was so bored in this. I was like, whatever happened to dances with Dudley? That's how much I don't give a shit about the Dudleys. That I was thinking about the one that means the least.
Dances with Dudley. You're right.
Yeah.
Forgot about him.
Where did D-Dub go?
Hopefully, he got a great job as an electrician and had a family and had a happy life where he's not an obnoxious shithead like Bubba Ray for 20 years following this.
No, he became camera guy Dudley.
Okay. Yeah. The one guy in this whole thing, in this whole last match, that I would actually want to drink a beer with.
Yeah.
So we go to our 9th match. Mr. Monday Night, Rob Van Dam with Bill Alfonso versus Tommy Dreamer with Beulah. And our competitors get into each other's faces to start having some words, only for RVD to trip up Tommy and hit a spinning heel kick. But Dreamer comes right back with a drop kick to the back of Van Dam's head. And Tommy clotheslines RVD out to the floor, following out with a slingshot pescado, before sending Van Dam into a guardrail several times and crotching him on the steel as well. Dreamer's handed a metal sign from the crowd, followed by leaping off the apron with it to smash RVD in the head. Now back in the ring, Tommy charges into a boot, allowing Van Dam to hit a split-legged sunset flip for a 2 count, followed by a spinning heel kick that sends Dreamer out to regroup. But RVD flies over the ropes with a tope con hilo. Van Dam then sends Tommy into a guardrail several times before crotching him on the steel as well, followed by nailing a Van Daminator with a springboard off the railing as well. And Dreamer makes it back into the ring, where RVD keeps up the attack with a pair of chair-assisted drop kicks to the face before hitting a 5-star frog splash for a near fall. And Van Dam slams Tommy onto a chair and goes for the split-legged moonsault. But Dreamer avoids, causing RVD to crash into the chair. Tommy then fires up with a Van Dreamernator, puts Van Dam in a tree of woe, followed by a chair-assisted basement dropkick and a frog splash for a 2 count. And Alfonso jumps in the ring, but so does Beulah to kick his ass. And Tommy grabs Bill to deliver a DDT, only for RVD to be back up to nail another Van Daminator on Dreamer. And RVD goes for a corkscrew leg drop with the chair, but again Tommy moves in time and hits the DDT. Sabu then runs in with a trash can, only for Dreamer to block and knock the homicidal one back to the floor. But another Van Daminator with the trash can, followed by a corkscrew leg drop onto the aluminum as well, for the pin and the win.
We're spaminators. Spam daminators.
Fan spaminators?
Yeah, fan spaminators. That's it.
Spam
I was
dam.
fishing. Thanks,
Post-match, Sabu and RVD continued to beat down Tommy, when the triple threat makes their way out to fight off Fonzie's men, but it's only because they want to beat down Dreamer. The locker room then makes their way out, but everybody just starts brawling.
And my question is, why? And I'm like, oh, I know why.
Because we're ECW.
Yep.
The Dudleys then come out as well and start taking down all of the jobbers, clearing the ring, followed by Big Dick choke slamming Tommy.
Where you at, Shaw? Come on.
Axel and Balls then make their way out at this point to see a repeat of their earlier match, using chair shots and a barbed wire baseball bat, until Mahoney is dropped with a choke slam and a 3D.
Okay, I'm like, what is...
Before Rotten is taken down by a Bubba Cutter. New Jack and Cronus then rush the ring, clearing out the Dudleys with trash cans and staple guns, only for Big Dick to hit a double choke slam on them, followed by Saturn getting in the ring to crack his crutch across the Dudleys' back, and a cutter of his own to everybody.
So are New Jack and Cronus a team now, or did they just happen to run out at the same time? Because I know Saturn's hurt, but...
They run at the same time. Saturn shows up, but he's...
Yeah.
So at this point, the Dudleys had the belts the last time we saw them. On the last time we watched a tag championship match, they won the belts. Since then, the Gangsters had won it. Okay? But the Dudleys had stolen the belts. That's why they still have the belts on this show.
Yeah, they talk about
So,
it a little bit. I was like,
so technically the Gangstas
are the champions.
are the champions.
Okay.
But Mustafa has basically left the promotion at this point.
Okay.
And
Saturn's hurt.
but it doesn't officially, the Dudleys don't officially become champions again until the beginning of the next pay-per-view.
Good Lord.
It's
But
a belt heist.
yes, New Jack and Cronus become a tag team
Okay.
called the Gangstanators.
Oh, good God. Oh, good.
Yeah.
They should have been called Ebony and Ivory because it would have been funny, and because New Jack could cut a fun promo about that.
I'm dreading the Total Gangsta Nation. Or whatever they're...
That would require New Jack to actually know how to do a move.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be his total part. Is just standing there while Cronus does the work.
I mean, no, he would like hit him with a Nintendo.
There you go. You get a chair over the head while Cronus
Oh, he hits
sweeps
him
away.
with
chair
something
while-
up high
yeah,
while
with the leg
Cronus
sweep.
goes
Yeah,
to
yeah.
leg sweep.
There you
I
go.
mean, it would be fun. It would look okay.
I'm gonna stab you in your kidneys while he's taking out your knees.
But while we're talking about this brawl isn't over.
No, I know. I'm well aware.
Bubba Ray is then hit with a somersault leg drop and a top rope corkscrew splash from Cronus,
Jeebus.
while Dvon is knocked out by a Balls chair shot, a crutch shot from New Jack, and a frog splash from Cronus. The Dudleys finally clear out, except for Joel Gertner, leaving him to receive a chair shot from New Jack and a 450 splash from Cronus, with all of our faces celebrating in the ring and then into the crowd to celebrate with the fans.
Cronus dropping down and doing the splits.
Yeah, I think also it's like, okay, well, since they're going to have to change out the ropes here in a second, having a big thing like this and then walking out into the crowd so they don't get bored or whatever, it's like, okay, well, we'll go outside and light a spliff and drink some beers with these folks while they change out.
Smoke some crack.
I mean, wouldn't be surprised, but I'm not going to put that on anybody.
So we go to our 10th match, Sabu with Bill Alfonso versus Terry Funk for the ECW World Heavyweight Championship in a no-rope barbed wire match.
Exclusive to ECW home video.
And the two are tentative to start, as one should be around barbed wire.
Yeah.
Until Terry hits some left hands and whips the homicidal one towards the ropes. But Sabu puts the brakes on. The homicidal one comes back with right hands and goes to whip Funk, only for him to put the brakes on and slide out to the floor momentarily. Now back in the ring, Sabu stomps away and locks on the camel clutch.
Clutched.
But he releases it to deliver more stomps, only for Terry to respond with headbutts, a hangman's neckbreaker, and a pile driver for a 2 count.
Early pile driver.
Funk keeps up the attack with a DDT before the two try to push each other into the barbed wire, but they both block. So the homicidal one nails a hurricanrana for a near fall, only for the kick out to send Sabu right into the wire.
I mean, this was the perfect, first guy into the barbed wire spot. It's like, oh, Hurricane Rana with the cover, cool. But Terry Funk, it's early in the match. He still has the strength. He pushes him off so hard that he flies into the barbed wire. So you don't expect it at all. It's truly shocking. And Sabu basically grabs onto it like a cat trying to jump onto a telephone wire. He really goes right into that barbed wire. My gosh.
Terry rakes the head of the homicidal one across the barbed wire, which busts him open, before just being fully whipped back first into it as well. Funk then crotches Sabu, which ends up shredding his tights, followed by whipping him again into the wire, getting the homicidal one's arm caught, as even Terry has to help free it. Funk continues with jabs, a left-handed haymaker, chops, tries for another whip, but it's reversed, sending Terry into the barbed wire, followed by multiple chair shots from the homicidal one. Funk gets busted open when his face is shoved into the wire, followed by Sabu grabbing a piece of the barbed wire to wrap around his fist and hitting Terry with it.
A lot of times.
The homicidal one continues the punishment by setting up a chair for Air Sabu for a 2 count. He goes for it again, but Funk moves in time, sending the homicidal one crashing into the barbed wire,
Jesus.
ripping his bicep open.
And
Sabu,
he's hurt. As he's speaking to Bill Alfonso.
give me some tape,
Yeah.
because he just starts taping up his arm.
Which is,
And even as he's doing it, Terry delivers a hangman's neck breaker through 2 chairs. And like as he's on the ground, like after he takes the move, he finally like finishes wrapping his arm, which is kind of.
like Terry knows that he's hurt. He probably doesn't know how bad it is, but he knows that he can't just like wait around for too long because he's Terry Funk, and he trusts that Sabu's crazy enough to make it work.
But as soon as he finishes with the tape, Sabu just starts going crazy, punching away even in agony. But Funk responds with fists of his own that sends the homicidal one out to the floor. And Terry follows out to continue the fight, raking Sabu's face across the wire once more, before returning to the ring for a spinning toe hold. Now Alfonso climbs up to the apron to distract Funk, who just drags Fonzie in over the barbed wire, allowing the homicidal one to recover, only to be front suplexed into the wire.
My God.
Now Terry returns his attentions to Alfonso, nailing him with a barbed wire fist, before raking his back with a length of wire that busts Fonzie open. Funk then takes some wire cutters for more strands of wire so that he can whip Sabu across the back with it, before going to the floor to continue abusing Alfonso. Terry returns to the ring where the homicidal one uses the wire cutters to attack him, before cutting off some strands of wire himself, when RVD would run in and hammer away on Funk. Van Dam would roll Terry up in some loose strands of barbed wire, making him look like a Christmas tree with tinsel, setting Funk on a table, followed by Sabu leaping off the apron with a leg drop, sending them through the wood.
I do also love that RVD comes out with gloves on to cut the barbed wire.
Yep.
So it's one of those things like, well, obviously the stuff can cut you open, but like they probably gimmicked the barbed wire to some extent, but him keeping the gloves on, they did not.
The story is that the people they sent to go get the barbed wire bought the wrong kind, and it's real non-gimmicked barbed wire.
The way it's ripping into them, I had a feeling that
the video quality is not great because like I've heard the story.
Like Sabu's pants exploded just from the drag, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's not normal.
Yeah, we'll talk about it more in a moment.
Tommy Dreamer then makes his way out to help his mentor, smashing a trash can lid over the head of RVD, followed by a DDT onto the concrete, before picking Van Dam up and just carrying him to the back.
You've had enough.
And our competitors make it back into the ring with the homicidal one making a cover for a 2 count, but then sets up another table, putting Terry on it. Sabu then wraps himself with barbed wire and leaps off the apron with another leg drop. Oh my God!
They a mess.
Both men are tangled up in the wire, and they have to work together to get back in the ring.
Yeah, they have to get pushed in by the referee and somebody else out there too, because they can't get in sync to get through there.
Where the homicidal one gets a 2 count. But Funk is unable to move at all. So Sabu again makes a cover for the pin and the win. And new! Terry legit could not move as the wire was dangerously close to his throat.
Yeah, I mean, he was...
So Funk was supposed to win this match.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it's what it felt like. It felt like that because Sabu did the thing, and it's like, well... And
but
he was like, realized what he couldn't do.
They couldn't get untangled enough for either one of them to, like, safely move the wire away from Funk's neck. And so they were just like, just Pin, get it done with. Let's get it over with.
Good.
Yeah,
Because
we
they
got this
literally
option
had to
on.
methodically cut him open with
Cut
the
you
wire
out.
cutters.
Yeah, it was like because they. My reason why I thought maybe it was gimmicked is because I know his bicep gets ripped open, but you don't see any blood from his arm, or at least I had a hard time finding it. But it was probably a deep tear, taped it up real well, closed it up. I don't know. And
Yeah,
also,
once
it's
the
like,
he
it's not,
taped it
it's
back
not
up
like
real
it was
quick.
like
And
it was a major vein or whatever, but it's still.
so I ask you, gentlemen, what are your thoughts of Born to be Wired?
Some good stuff that looks promising, but I assume we mostly watched this for Sabu and Terry Funk, which was compelling, but the finish was a little anticlimactic, but at the same time, I could tell they were up against a rock and a sheet of barbed wire. So I understood.
I enjoyed the majority of the show. I may be the indifferent one here, or the different one, however the fuck I'm supposed to say it. I didn't really care for the main event. It was
These barbed wire matches aren't.
it was
my thing
too it was too much. They should have, I don't know what they should have, but they shouldn't have done that. It was uncomfortable to watch, and I'm one who handles all kinds of gore and horror and all that stuff, but the fact that it was two
It's
real
different when
life
it's
people
real
in
people,
there,
yeah.
it just
And one
felt
of 'em you truly
unnecessary,
care
and it
for.
felt extremely unnecessary and unsafe and anything else that you want to throw in there, to the point that it's like their lives didn't matter because somebody didn't buy the right stuff, somebody didn't make the call that maybe we should just change it up here last second, throw a different curve out there, something just to protect these two. And I know these two are insane on their own anyways, but you put insane and insane together and
Yeah, something
it's
like this
just
happens.
total madness.
Yeah. I think that as far as the main event goes, the kick out spot is incredible. The first barbed wire, first person in the barbed wire is the best first person in the barbed wire that I've seen. And that's, maybe somebody's done something more creative, but I don't know because I'm not a deathmatch guy. But for the ones that I have seen, I thought this was the most effective first person into the barbed wire spot that I've seen. And that is kind of, I think, the highlight of the match. And then it's like, I know that nobody got irreparably damaged in this match because I would have already known about that. I knew about the torn bicep or whatever, but the fact that it was, shoot barbed wire, pretty wild.
I mean, it sounds like pretty much all in agreement. There's some good wrestling on this show.
Yeah.
Like the first like 6 matches are all really quality matches. Like they're nothing amazing happened in any of them, but they're very good.
And but they stay in the ring more. There's no huge, like, extended crowd brawl stuff.
It's not a big ass schmoz fest like we
Are
often
used to,
see.
yeah. I mean, yeah, you've got Lance Storm, Shane Douglas, Chetti, Candido in here, and like they're doing wild shit. Like this crowd does like good wrestling as much as they like
This main event.
Yeah, as much as they like shit show violence, and it's threading the line. And I think this show does a good job of it because there's sometimes where it's like, oh yeah, there's like a good match on here, but then there was 3 tag matches where people just like walked around the ring and hit each other with like foreign objects, and it didn't feel like it meant anything.
The main event, it's the reason to watch this show, but only because it's so violent.
Mm-hmm.
There is a reason. Like I actually went and looked. Like I think it's like 10 barbed wire matches have happened in major U.S. promotions since this match. And a lot of it is because this match was so gruesome.
Yeah.
That like literally most people are kind of just like,
We're good.
maybe we shouldn't do that very often.
Yeah, there's a reason that like CZW is a thing that just exists on the fringe.
Yeah.
because it's disgusting. Because you watch a CZW match or see clips of it, and you're like, I know I can. The people, everybody in that room can smell blood, and that's disgusting.
Like, did you know there's a no ropes barbed wire match in WWE? I learned this while I was looking at this. Because most of them are in ROH.
Is it a Foley match?
No.
No?
Big Show and Layfield.
So what, like 2004?
That's a weird combo.
That's what I said too. I was just like,
those are not the guys you would assume. Yeah.
and then obviously we all know about the AEW one, which is the exploding death ring with Omega and
which I think
Moxley,
was pretty good.
which is a very good match until the ending.
Yeah, and it's just like you didn't have to do the exploding ring thing because it.
But yeah, most of them are in ROH or TNA.
Yeah, and that's you're saying major,
and that's just the major U.S. promotions that
stuff with television deals essentially.
Yeah, basically. I mean, ROH. I think when they were doing them, they weren't on television at that time.
Eventually, they get
because I think it's like Homicide and Steve Corino do one, which I was like Homicide. I got the Homicide. Corino was kind of like he seems like a weird choice for a barbed wire match, but
it's like when Randy Orton did that match with Mick Foley and did the thumbtacks. I never would have expected Orton to be one of the guys to do that, but that's what kind of elevated him to he's not just a pretty boy, he's actually in this to be in this.
But basically we had to go out and sell the high seas to find the show, but the main event is out there on YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you think that you can handle the violence,
the quality is so not very good that you can probably handle it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was glad that the quality of it wasn't as good because it kind of added that little filter there, so you weren't seeing everything crystal clear.
But it's worth watching if you can handle it.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen worse stuff with Zero Blood. Looking at you, Naito and Ibushi, dropping each other on your own necks for 30 minutes.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right. Fuck you.
I think it's time we smark it up. So what are some of the best moments of this show?
And I've said mine a million times already, but couldn't say enough good things about it. But the first,
kick out.
The first kick out, that barbed wire spot, really, really got me. And it felt like it was intelligent and perfectly timed. It was great, but the rest of the show is filled with good wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Alfsono and Taz,
Spike and Bam Bam,
Shane
and Lance Storm.
Yeah, I mean even Candido and Chetti is very good.
Chetti was a little rough in spots.
He was, but Candido was, he was there.
Tommy Dreamer does a frog splash that...
Oh, the Van Dreamernator guys.
Yeah. I mean, that was good, but there was something about that frog splash.
Oh, yeah.
It was just like picture perfect, and maybe it's because I've never seen him or paid attention to him doing one before.
Well, you remember the early Tommy Dreamer before he decided that,
he had to be the innovator of violence?
Yeah. When he was still working out and like wore a singlet.
When he was Chris Chetty's year older brother.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was that early.
Did he do frog splashes back then?
He definitely did more wrestling, I assume. I think he may have even done like a rolling pop-up like splash. Where you do like
the Van Damme Rolling Thunder deal?
Yeah. I feel like that, I might be wrong, but there wasn't very much of that Tommy Dreamer. At least not on tape that we saw. But,
no, because then he got the whole Raven effect.
But it was very different than like, remember Surfer Sandman,
mm-hmm.
where it still looked like shit, but he was trying.
Yeah.
Tommy Dreamer did a thing where he used to try, but it looked promising, but it didn't last very long. Similar to the time frame of Sandman, switching over and be like, well, I drink beer and do the worst leg drop in all of wrestling. But I'm excited for Triple Threat with Bam Bam. I'm excited for Lance Storm. I'm excited for a lot of stuff that's happening at the moment. And this felt like a ECW. It's weird to call it a transition show because like ECW is always changing.
Okay, you know what I really liked? There was no Raven.
Oh yeah, it feels good. It feels so good.
I mean, I thought you were gonna say there's no Sandman either.
Well, I mean, there wasn't Sandman now. Is he done?
He's hurt, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know we had a little break from Raven on the ECW shows for a while there while he was recuperating, but he just brought every show down that he was on because the Raven effect just sucks. It was fun in the very beginning.
There's very few moments where the storyline is actually interesting.
Because it just it was like NWO before NWO, where he's just going to do whatever he wants. Nobody can stop him, even though he's obviously stoppable. But, yeah, it just got old really quick, and then he just was boring for the rest of his time. Until he lost the belt and came back, and then it was like he had that little bit of energy, and then it was gone again.
I love my ECW full of men that can wrestle, whether they are there for a night or there for the foreseeable future. And on this show, we got a lot of promising wrestling. So I say bring it on.
How about most disappointing?
I mean, I hate to say the finish of the main event, but it was.
Yeah.
It was. It just is.
It was.
That's what you get. Like, you want to play with barbed wire.
You want to play with fire?
You're going to get bit.
You're going to get burnt sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
The shit at the end of the Dreamer Van Damme match,
Yeah, that stunk, but I gave it a pass because I knew exactly what it was.
Yeah.
So, but in most instances, I would not let that fly because you know how I hate my 40-man ECW brawls.
If you're not going to have Luna Vachon out there, then don't have anybody, damn it. What else? The
R.I.P. Louie.
Yeah, I was going to say the farewell of Louie, at least in ECW.
I was so high on Louie Spicolli.
Does he stay Louie Spicolli when he goes to WCW, right?
Mm-hmm. I believe he stays Spicolli.
Okay.
He's only around for a little while.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
You have an ice train run? You know what I mean. He's there, nobody cares or notices. But he's not awful.
No, I don't think he's there long enough to get people to really care.
Well, yeah, but
he doesn't disappear because no one likes him. He disappears because of his own accord.
Oh,
yes.
I'm interested to hear.
Let's just say him and Scott Hall are very good friends.
Oh.
And he went to sleep one day and just didn't wake up.
Oh no, that's really sad.
Yeah.
Fuck. I was like, oh, he just.
Sorry for the spoilers, but yeah, he doesn't make it to 26 or 27
Jesus
or however old
Christ.
he was when he passed.
That's upsetting.
Yeah.
Well, you know.
Learning that is disappointing for Michael.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I don't want to hear about anybody dying, whether I like him or not, but I actually like Louie Spicolli quite a bit. So, that's a bummer. But hey.
How about best performer of the night?
Ooh.
I know what mine is.
Lance Storm?
Of course.
I'm going to give it to Lance too because we know what Shane Douglas can do, but Lance Storm is new
just
to
for
us.
taking the stupid bump through the chairs.
Yeah.
I was like, I saw him take that. I was just like, when the fuck did you ever, like, why are you taking that bump, dude? Yeah. Like, he has had matches with Jerry Lynn where, like, neither one of them take a bump the entire match.
And it rules.
Yeah. Like, why are you taking that bump?
Because he's fresh on the scene, brother. I mean, I would give it to him or Spike because you know how much I love
That's where I was.
Sam Houston.
I was torn between Spike.
I'm going to give it to Lance because he has his, this is kind of his true... Like,
I mean, Shane lets him have quite a bit.
Yeah, he does, for sure. And, I mean, Bam Bam fucking took a pin from Spike Dudley. Hilarious. He did not have to do that. But he did. But
Bam Bam needed an opponent for next week's pay-per-view, so that's what they're setting up that.
Yeah, and Spike's
spoiler alert, they're going to face each other again.
Yeah, and Spike's going to...
For one of Spike Dudley's most memorable moments in ECW history.
Yeah, he's going to swallow his own teeth. just launched around the room.
Yikes.
He is the wrestling buddy.
Lawn dart Dudley.
Yep.
How about most surprising?
The quick return and exit of the Shaw.
Yeah, I really wasn't expecting him to show up because I don't really ever think about the man. But
No, sure don't.
yeah, but he did show up, and at least his last match had the Shaw Balls axe, which was very funny.
That was very good.
The return of Mikey.
Yeah, we haven't seen Mikey in quite a while.
And I had to actually do kind of a double take to make sure that that's who I was seeing.
I mean, Spike winning is probably the surprise of the night because no one's thinking he's beaten Bam Bam.
I mean, he weighs as much as one of Bam Bam's thighs.
Yeah.
Like cut off at the knee, like just the thigh. Like Spike Dudley weighs 90 pounds. Like he's so small.
And now for a look back even further into the history of wrestling.
The dusty finish.
Bob Backlund won the WWF Championship a few days earlier as he made his way to Madison Square Garden on November 26, 1994, to face WWF's newest big man in Diesel, in the last time the WWF Championship would change hands on a house show. Diesel, born 1959 in Detroit, Michigan, played college basketball at the University of Tennessee before also playing overseas in Germany. After his basketball career was over, he enlisted in the Army before working on an assembly line for Ford. Diesel would make his way to the WCW power plant, making his debut at Clash of the Champions 12 on September 5th, 1990, as Master Blaster Steel. By 91, a new gimmick was introduced in Oz, before again being repackaged as Vinny Vegas by 92, teaming with the rest of the Diamond Mine that included Diamond Dallas Page, Diamond Stud, and Scotty Flamingo. In June of 93, Diesel would make his way to the WWF, becoming the bodyguard of Shawn Michaels. His first big break would be the 1994 Royal Rumble, eliminating 7 men in under 18 minutes, before also winning the WWF Intercontinental Championship from Razor Ramon. Diesel would also team up with the Heartbreak Kid to become WWF Tag Team Champions during this time as well. Diesel is a 2-time WWE Hall of Famer, individually and as a member of the New World Order. After winning the WWF Championship, Diesel would dominate over the next year till the excellence of execution would come looking for the title once more.
Totally forgot about that house show thing where it's like, oh.
And the fact that you said 1994 and that means it'll be 30 years this year makes me wonder if we're going to have a house show championship sometime this year, just because.
Absolutely not.
Never say never.
Not a chance.
Absolutely. The reason that this happened was because.
I said the last time the WWF Championship.
Yeah. But, like, the reason this happened was obviously it's like, oh, well, we just wanted to get it off Brett, and Brett's not going to lose to Diesel on television, and we're trying this guy out, and it's totally fine because we're not doing so hot right now, and it's something for him to, have to rise to the occasion of a man that's a foot taller than him.
So I want the make wrestling great again method of bringing in some old bastard that nobody wants to be the champion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next week, Monday Night Raw from August 11th, 1997.
It's almost to my 20th birthday.
Music from this week's show is This Is Extreme by Harry Slash and the Slash Tones.
Slash Tones always makes me laugh.
And Sabu won our main event, so we play his music, Crazy by Little Fight. If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. Do as Michael says.
5 barbed wires or no barbed wires.
Yeah.
I'll cut my biceps for you.
Please don't.
I'll throw you some tape.
If you have any questions, comments, concerns,
Where are we going?
Biloxi, Mississippi.
Biloxi. Holy shit,
They have
Mississippi.
food in Mississippi.
Of course they do. They got. I don't know what they got off the top of my head. They got Mississippi mud pies.
Yeah, I'm in my mind. It's like, okay, well, probably just like crawdads.
I could do some crawdads.
I could do some crawfish any day.
Yeah,
Crawfish
so
and a crawdad are the same thing.
I've never been to Biloxi. If you've been to Biloxi, send me some ideas. Yeah, we're going to Mississippi. Maybe there's like a special Biloxi sushi, so we can take part in both Biloxi and the rawness.
No Mississippi sushi, please.
Well, it's not going to be from Mississippi. It can be Mississippi inspired.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll put some like swamp eel on it or something.
Yeah, Rob, put it on later.
If you got any ideas for Monday Night Raw, for Mississippi themed ideas, if you want to be like our friend Joe and send us a list of new ideas, that would be awesome. And we'll make it worth your while. Hit us up on the formerly known as Twitter, or slide into our emails. Either or both.
And that email address is wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com, or find us on X at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTOX. We'll talk to you next week.
Later, crazies.
It's alright. It's alright. It's alright. I'm just a little crazy.